start here on Haven, and this pistol round to begin looks explosive. We've got 9 out of 10 players looking to control a tiny piece of square footage.
Yeah, classic A lobby fight about to be occurring. To cage the feign like there's only one player crossing here for DRX, but they've slowed it down still. And KRU now going to offload that util, but a stun's going to be connecting. Kesnit forced and pushed back and away. Melter with the blind is good connection. Dart to try and again repel and push and ward away. And in this carnage, it is DRX that are just leaving Flashback alone. A 1v2. Spike drop down at his back, and he's trying to catch a timing of his own.
I like the reclear from Shy and Melzer, but now they've split up, and that's where the danger comes through. Does Shy have eyes on the spike? I think he must do, just based on the minimap.
Flashback wrapping all the way around here. Just doesn't need... Oh, spotting one of the players, and he knows exactly where Shy is for the 1v1. But KRU coming up on top. That's a pistol round, granted and earned.
And that's immediately going to what Tom was talking about on the desk. Are you going to be able to stop DRX from taking map control, getting into their executes? He was talking about the fact that there were 10 attack side rounds for DRX against Gen G. Against Gen G! But to me, when I was watching the game, a lot of that was based on anti-stratting the Viper comp.
Yeah.
And the way that Gen G play this map. It's not just that DRX are amazing on attack side. Here, KRU stacked 4 players A. You can't do that every single time. And in this follow-up, they've only got 2 there. Kesnit, MTA. So mixing that up and trying to find the right timings to contest DRX is going to be super important.
And Mouse is dodging most of this util coming his way as well with a Bulldog in hand, Flash. Paranoia to supplement. Smoke to at least cut up the side as well, buy a bit of time, kill trips as well, helping him out. There is that plan online for DRX, so pocket change earned, a little bit of extra money, but overall KRU keeping it nice and healthy for the bonus.
Looking lovely. Now, bringing up bonus round stats again, because of course, you know, your boy's nerdy.
Yeah, you've been digging.
I have. But one of the reasons why I was digging into this game was that KRU have the lowest bonus round win rate out of all of the teams from EMEA, Pacific, and Americas, which is kind of wild.
That is weird, yeah.
And so even with them winning here, they're coming into the next round with 3 Guardians, a pistol. They've got no Vandals, no Phantoms. The way that they manage their economy, so different to the teams that are actually competent in the bonuses. So they've got to hit some crazy shots here. Otherwise, it's just about doing a little bit of damage to the economy.
Seeing it again, early fault line setting up. To be used to get Kesnit onto that line. There's a dart to worry about. Oh, he's missed it. 2 shots rattled away, but not able to claim it, so he is postured off and away. DRX, going for a quick pivot. They themselves as well, trying to take this one out through Garage. The dash already active onto Buzz. He's going to be trying to get that first fight and engagement whilst he's into the back of the site. There's no one to meet him. KRU happy to give this one up. A slight pixel angle. Flashback still committed! And still holding it down. No one able to cross back up into Garage here. And at this point, round is basically wrapped up. Only 2 left to stand with MTA and Heat. Not much they can really do.
I don't think there was any chance there for the KRU players coming back through Garage. Even if they'd had rifles in hand, just far too snappy on the aim. Heat and MTA, they want to try to do a bit of damage, and that's a great opening shot.
Yeah. Need a bit more, though, and already the flank is occurring. Flashback spots it out, and damage done to the remaining 2, so no bonus round, no increasing the what is it, like a statistical anomaly, I suppose, sitting at the bottom in terms of converting them.
Yeah. Again, if you were just winning it like a rifle round, 50% would be what you expect. KRU are sat at 24%, so they win less than half of what you would expect if the economy was even. So they really, really can't convert these bonuses. And you can kind of see why when they bring 3 Guardians into the round, but I don't think they were quite expecting to get mauled like that in Garage too. KRU going for a bit of a hard read though, heading into round 4. 3 players set up on B.
Yeah, heavy expectation, especially with Heat's position tucked into the back of the site. Just he's able to use that fault line in case they do commit into the B side.
So you see a smoke and a recon over towards A lobby, but there's no paranoia, there's no stun. You're pretty confident that KRU are not fighting super aggro, and here the cam tells you with decent confidence, nobody there.
It's a bit of a slow siege. It's a flash and a peek through, trying to take that Garage control. DRX making it seem like they're working over towards that area. Now back into A. They must have heard the drone that MTA used earlier, and he does have to commit his body, at least to try and get that mid-round information at the minute mark. And he's missing the spot here, almost a punish. Straight from Mako, backs it up and away though, and reinforcements are arriving for
defenders.
KRU. Yeah, they're already fast. Ready to defend this again with the fault line. Util is going to be expended, pushed back and away. No one on that dart duty. Kesnet gliding to the side, smokes in their face. DRX might be able to persevere through the thick and thin of it. Shy's the last one left, and as the smoke dissipates, he's granted that easy angle again into the 1v1. Shots rattling, no casualties, but damage done. Flashback, he's low. Cam tagged up, and finally the kill here for Shy.
Nothing coy about that, is there? Swings out through heaven on the wide swing, the Mr. Rhinoceros. Yeah. He's won now 2 really important 1v1s, round 1 and round 4 against his counterpart, Flashback. Both firing, both hitting shots, but crucially Shy winning out on the clutches when it matters to keep KRU ahead. I'm watching, by the way, Kesnet zipping around on these A defenses. Loves fighting, always happy to take a fight, and on Neon on this map, sliding in to play his teammates in. DRX are going to find it difficult to deal with that, I think.
The Cam and a dart immediately broken. Now Flashback is ahead of a lot of this. Off angle again played, this box position by Melzer. A lot of bullets landing, but did he think it's cleared? Oh my, peace of mind is not there for him, and the Spectre in the hands of him, it's short work. The DRX team, only 3 of them left to survive into this as well. Norofet will give away quite a bit of info.
It makes KRU think they need to shore up this A side of the map, so Kesnet's going to come and try to reinforce MTA. But basically, KRU just need to not overextend. They're in a 5v3. You don't want to give any opportunities back to DRX. And what a heartbreaker that is for the Korean squad playing in front of the crowd. Shocked, stilled here in the arena. They knew there was someone behind that box.
Yeah, maybe just feeling like the bullets that they did throw in were enough. An opener is what they need here. Cheeky kill. Melzer, he's not giving anything away. That is nasty. Jiggling onto the corner, a bit of a pre-fire. Okay, Phantom at work.
The ace.
He's on for the ace, yeah. 1 player left to stand, it's Bane, and he's being pressured, pushed, corralled into the corner. Kesnet steals away, but it's flawless at the end of the day.
That's a tragedy. Since joining KRU, Melzer's never had an ace for them.
Oh, okay.
And Kesnet's just stolen it away.
That's brutal. That is brutal.
Fair enough. It's giving texture.
It is giving texture.
I mean, what is... it's a tragedy, honestly, that DRX get caught by that. The spot behind the box and the Spectre spray down as well. It's not even like it was a Phantom, a Vandal. They died slowly, realizing their mistake. KRU are running away with this one.
They are.
Right there.
This is DRX ran down in terms of the money onto that half bite. Taking it slow and steady to begin. Again, looking towards garage control. Close quarter weaponry, so it makes a lot of sense here, but not the beginning they were hoping for, not in front of this Korean crowd. Going to be making their way now over towards the seaside. Shock darts, at least to remove most of this one here inside towards the cage. Here's the footsteps.
Not again.
Pre-fire, no way is Shy surviving into this spot, and we will eventually be dropped. Melzer, Paranoia's dished out. The rest of his team now following suit as well. They want to get themselves into the action, into the fray. It's Kesnet overdrive in his hands, and he's lighting them all up. Another 4K. Dropped into his lap. This time it's Kesnet's turn.
And another ace stolen away as well. That's fair enough. I mean, that is karma for Kesnet, isn't it? DRX are going to take a tactical timeout here. Things are spiraling out of control. That was just an eco round. But perhaps it felt like there was an opportunity to make something happen when Shy was caught over towards Logs. These flood defense, though, KRU, they're so rapid with it.
They are.
Kesnet is going to be if he's not at the tip of the spear, he's going to be the first one back into the site. Trying to get these big retakes, trying to flood in and help Melzer, help.
Defense are trying to get online.
You look at the pings on the minimap here, Bren, and coming out of the tactical timeout, this to me looks like Mako wants to ult into spawn. Seen a few teams do this, where you send a smoke into spawn, ult in there, that draws people back towards top garage.
And here it is. But awareness here, he's stuck it! And Shy, he waits around the corner. Mako's baited to stick the ult. It's perfection. And what a play to make still. Fight isn't over yet, but this man will not be denied. Rips away 2 of the lives of DRX. They're going to give them up the site, but it's a consolation prize for DRX. And now Kesnet wants to make another go of things here. To fault line to set it up. Another stunner's just going to be layered all the way through. Rifle aim is on point movement. Just a cherry on top, and KRU cannot be stopped.
That was DRX's set play. That was what they took the tactical timeout for. That was supposed to send KRU spiraling. Where was the smoke for him to play inside? Why is he ulting into a position that's so close to where the C defender's going to be?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really large mistake just in terms of the execution there from Mako. It's not how people are currently playing it. It's looking like something from a couple years ago rather than how teams are currently doing it.
It's got to feel bad for DRX. You take your timeout just for that, and it gets dismissed as easily.
Get out of my way.
Already a fight going to be taken once more. Oh my goodness. And listen, the weaponry's bad right now for DRX, but these guys are hurting. Be able to catch another one, but Stinger in the hands of Mako, it's not good enough. Calling for that pause, but KRU going for a reclear, contacting. Mako reveals his hand. Buzz is trying to clear the corner. Bladestorm, rapid fire. Only the one before the trade comes out. Mako is worried about these players. Paranoia does land. Blinded up, sprays them down. Collected into the corner, leaves it down to another 1v1. This time, the Smokes players off against each other, and that is a minute on the clock. There's time to work with. If you are Mako, you can slow this one down.
What redemption this would be as well for Mako after he got caught coming straight out of the tag timeout in the previous incredibly important round.
Cover going out.
It's been a jarring game so far as well, just in terms of the pace that's been followed. DRX trying to match it pound for pound when KRU are just running at them.
Mako has no idea where Melzer is, hasn't shown himself, hasn't used anything that gives away his location. Just a smoke, could have been thrown from anywhere. And Mako doesn't even have info on site. From Mako's perspective, Melzer could be heaven, sight, walking short. He's got to take a gamble now. Time is low.
It's a smart play. Drops the smoke down over towards B to make at least it feel like to Melzer that he's playing over towards that B angle. Walks most of the way, but now committing to the plan, and that's heard. Melzer, paranoia. There's a connection. Drops himself down into hell. The reposition. He's out in the open. My God. Almost just plays it poorly, but again, the reposition away, and the mind games are kicking into full effect in this 1v1. The smoke drop down, Melzer taps, and the issue, and hand being forced out of Mako. No stick inside, but pushes forward, Melzer catches him. A bullet to the brain, and another round one for KRU.
DRX sorely needed that one. Mako did a decent job getting it down into the 1v1. The reposition over towards short, though, I think a bit of an overheat in the moment. After just being surprised by Melzer's positioning, coming out of being nearsighted, deciding not to reposition over towards somewhere where he could play the spike, like hell, for example, maybe even heaven in a spot like that. He could have possibly got to. And instead there, just gives up all of the space to Melzer. Spike down, smoke down, dominated. Kesnet's now going to pick up the operators as we go back into round 9, looking to take that peak short. This is where he fought before.
Yeah, I'm set up for it as well. It's a fault line onto the corner alongside the dart. No one breaks it. It reveals up onto 2 players. Jump spot, damage through the wall. Mako's still alive though. Now able to at least take up that space out towards A lobby and A long. Kesnet's gone for the pre-fire play, almost catching it right through the smoke.
This is how DRX had so much value against Gen G, though. They took a lot of A-long control like this, and then they just waited. Cut the noise, make a little bit of pressure over towards Garage, something like that, and then tried to go for an A re-hit. You can catch KRU if they decide to go for info reclears towards A-long or short, and then when you exec, the defenders are going to be spread out again. Yeah. So we're now finally, at the last moments of this first half, getting to see DRX playing their attack side how they would like to see it.
But the trouble is, KRU are 1 step ahead already. They see that Foxy9 has this ulti and the Rolling Thunder, and Kesnet, he's in a position to evacuate. Right by his side, he's going to be catching that first contact. The smoke's up and away, blind in his face as well, and he wants to get the hell out of there. They're giving up the site entirely. Kill collected down to Bane. That was just up through mid. Now the only silver lining potentially is that they might be able to get this plant down. Still, it's tapping away. It's forced out of Hunter's Fury, and they do have that Rolling Thunder in their back pocket. DRX desperate to get this plant down. Still with that player disadvantage. Here it is, sent flying. Might be used into a response, so it's just a 1-for-1. And Foxy9 does take down Shy. Still holding on to the site. Wall up and over to the top. The retake is going to be difficult. Again, Kesnet just blindly firing away and through with that op in his hands. He's hoping for an easy kill. Buzz dominating the smoke, but does not win out his fight. And up through heaven, it all has to be contained. Flashback of Mako, and down and out. A collection of kills in what looks like anarchy towards the end. Is that a 4 damage assist for... I mean, yeah. Mako's just spraying him down.
I think he's done 120 to him. And the fall damage has done the rest in that spot.
God almighty.
Not the greatest ending, but listen, it's 7-2. KRU will still be fairly happy with that. The post-plant breach ult ended up making the difference from Foxy9. He waited for that retake ult to come out. Throws one out himself. That cancels things. And then they made sure to keep rifles out, face towards heaven. But we're seeing another fight over A lobby again.
It's non-stop. The tempo increase is ridiculous here. Mako with another ult, this time up and towards heaven, but he's not going to be punished for it. Paranoia sweeps through. Smoke up into heaven for him to play around. He's waiting for the rest of his team to get in, and he leaps into the fray, trying to take the fight with a cloudburst in play, but already Kesnet is dropping them all like flies. DRX will have to answer back once more. This is ridiculous, man. Barely any time to catch your breath in the action, but 8-2, KRU win the round out. They're not stopping.
I thought there was going to be a set retake there from KRU. As soon as the 2 players on site went down, MTA and Kesnet, I thought, all right, the other 3, they'll probably group up and try something more sensible. Shy flew out of heaven like Batman into the site, and Melzer was right there looking to back him up. I mean, these players are getting so much value out of the distractions that their teammates are going for. They're just willing to put their bodies on the line for each other. That's a good teammate right there.
Only 2 rounds left in this first half, and it feels like we've just barely begun.
Yeah, the pace is incredible.
It's ridiculous. There's been no slowing down. DRX just getting sucked up into that whirlwind tempo. KRU happy to oblige into it. This time they are giving up most of this site, but they're setting themselves up as a Paranoia, and the fault line out through into the back again. And already this util is just a little bit too late and delayed. Foxy9 presses the advantage through the smoke, but a spike drop down now, and everybody once more falls here for DRX. And yes, again, it's an eco round for them, but they need anything they can get at this point. And KRU, they've just got a handle on this entire half.
There's nothing that DRX are able to do to stop this flood defense strategy. Really, one of the teams that's the best at dealing with this kind of stuff is Fnatic. If you watch how they play their attack sides, they'll do pump fakes into sites. They'll run and execute, but they don't go all the way deep into the site. They run their exec, they take a little bit of space, let's say like the front area of C, and then rather than pushing the backside, they just wait. And they just wait for the defenders to fall into them. We're not seeing that. DRX are getting sucked up into the pace of KRU. They're getting dragged into it.
Oh my, what a shot.
And plucked away.
That's Kesnet pre-fires onto the corner, and that's a Hunter's Fury gone for DRX. They were hoping they could potentially get a pick onto the C side.
The ops are everywhere.
Set up. They're in the walls, man.
Well, that's the advantage of having a blooming economy.
You just don't expect it, but this is them trying to make a good go of it. DRX in through into the B sides. Rifles into their hands. Back up Wavenry. There's no slowing it down. 10-2.
Tom was talking about a 10-2 half the other way around when DRX attacked into Gen G. Could not be more different here. KRU have arrived on the champion stage, making a statement. This time, they're determined to do something. This champs, more like 2021 perhaps, than 2022 and 3.
Exactly, we're gonna see if that pace just keeps on going into the second half.
International events, they would always dominate the opening game and they would always make it out of groups. This is a new version of the team. They're looking to build towards the future. At the moment, they're still behind their past. They're trying to hunt for those top 3 finishes. They'd love to get some kind of turnaround here early on.
Bane's going to catch the contact of these players out through a lobby. Buzz, an attempt to flank and play himself into the angle, but Kesnet's not slowing down, and there's no util to help out. Bane is just isolated alone on an island. There's no helping him out with the same pace that KRU were showcasing. Even the flank timing of Buzz as well. It's going to come to no avail, but he does earn himself at least one kill, but can't land the second shot. Shy surviving, Paranoia offloaded and flashed into his face, but flashback, again he's pushed forwards. Away from the rest of his team, disconnected, and it leaves it just down to 2. Mako, it's a nice shot into the 2v2, damage done to either side. Anyone's game, it comes down to these angles and timings, the 1v1. Melza versus Foxy9. Can hear the footsteps running around, but Melza wins it out.
Huge from KRU to push them even further into the lead. These two organizations actually had a bit of a bet going before the game began about who could get more kills with their respective bundles. On broadcast, has to be on broadcast. Melza has just done it for them. Those are the first 3 kills with the KRU bundle or the DRX bundle that the camera caught today.
Yeah.
3-0 on top of the 11-2 scoreline that's already there.
No, I don't know what they're playing for,
KRU
but
are eating. They're eating today.
Yeah, they're eating good, man. They want to get to dinner. They're not slowing down, are they? Fast A lobby take. Dart has to be respected, so Buzz is going to be using just a dash to disengage.
Yeah, maybe they've got dinner reservations and they want to. They're like, let's get rid of DRX real quick. Just a blip in the road.
This is unreal.
They have forced here, DRX. They've got to.
And you have to.
They're 11-2 down. But can they do something? You know, chunk them down with the Marshall, finish them off with the Stinger. It is a fairly even buy.
Committal here by DRX. It's Bane and Buzz. Smokes in their face. KRU don't want anything to do with it, though. Going to re-explore different areas and avenues. They haven't broken any of this util that's been set down, laid down by Flashback. You know, mid-trip, garage trip still active, but DRX haven't moved bodies away from those areas.
And it looks like KRU might have found an open C site. I wonder how much they're going to contact up. One of the biggest things in the current meta is noticing these retake setups and contacting into them, not using too many ults or pieces of util. That was fairly light. They've still got some decent post-plant util to use here.
I'm going for the plant now. DRX looking to regroup now and take this one, potentially again. Fast at their disposal. It's going to be that Paranoia again to try and pave the way, but already just being chewed up straight through the choke points. I mean, Flashback makes a decent go of things as well, but they just can't get past anything right now. KRU, an absolute chokehold onto the C site, and this is them inevitability that they're going to be reaching that 12th round. Trying to speedrun 112 the entire event at this point.
And I am worried about what this is going to do to DRX. This is not the same team that had all the confidence to be able to make it through groups and get to lower bracket finals and try to break that glass ceiling for Pacific and for Korea. That's already been done by Gen G. DRX at this point, they are rebuilding. They've got rookie players on the team. 3 of them, Foxy9, Flashback, Bane.
Oh my.
And they've got a brand new IGL, Mako, who, in his own words at the press conference, says he wouldn't say he was entirely comfortable or used to the role of IGLing. If you get 13-2'd on your opening map, admittedly not your map pick, but a map that you're comfortable with, I'm worried about the mental being rattled here.
It does rattle you, I think. And it's a big test now for this DRX team. How are they going to pick themselves back up after this? At this point, already looking ahead to Abyss, and that's a map that's essentially a middle ground, I think, for both of these teams, if you're even looking at the strength of it. But here we stand. KRU not willing to hold back in the slightest. It's a fault line. Util going to be used again on either side. A bit of a handshake in terms of the darts. Bane with the drone. Looking for that info. Going to be trying to hide away. Only one player revealing themselves. Buzz onto the off angle, but he's not expecting it across their placement. It's sky high. Pre-aim for Shaq, but he's not in the server. He's nowhere near.
Cage triggered.
I do like the idea there as well. Mako gave him a little smoke that you could barely see so that you could try to play like anti against the recon dart and unexpected in the corner. Didn't work. KRU looking to close out.
Yeah, trying to pause into the round to at least make them stim in. A re-exploration is punished in kind. Any short plays as well. Dealt with, dismissed, and that is the map closed out. 13-2, KRU. Domination. It's the only way to describe redemption, but when you're getting battered like that, it's a hard ask.
Termi thought it came down to firepower, and DRX are coming into the pistol with 3 sheriffs. So if that's not enough to shore up the firepower gap, I don't know what will be.
This off angle is a common one. You see a lot of Jet players on Abyss playing, just to try and catch that contact early on, and he sees it, signs of life, but he can't escape. Bloody hell, suppressed by the knife, so he actually couldn't dash in and away. There's a dart's going to be used nice and early. Crew not committing past that point, just waiting it out and walking back up for Foxy9. Quick to respond, takes up that space once more, but as he swings out, he's not expecting, again, Crew to be in these spots. It's disjointed, it's individualistic at its core, and DRX, not enough for them to really win out this map. It's going to have to hit some shots, and land them they will. At least Mako, into the moment, has made it. That 2 versus 2 onto this pistol round. They need this win, they need it now. Damage done, almost single digits to a lot of the Mako, and a distraction necessary and enough for Flashback to just respond from the side.
Crew did a decent job of getting into position, and they read the fact that DRX wanted to go for a flood. But once they planted safe back here, there was no exit. They were just stuck. It was nice patience from Flashback and Mako there to just keep them trapped in the back of sight and then collect the kills. The Sheriff's doing a lot of work as well. So that's a good start to the map. They've already got half as many rounds as they did on Haven. And they're expected to be able to get the second, so maybe at least that'll settle the nerves for these DRX players.
Yes, this should do.
At least a better beginning for them. Large part of DRX when they're on the defensive side of their abyss is setting up Buzz with either the Operator, the Outlaw, long sight lines, trying to defend down B, launching down towards mid.
That is a classic way that DRX have been playing this map. They've been trying to get massive value out of the op, and on rounds where they don't have it, they'll set up some kind of like flash and dash play, aggressive out of B or aggressive through mid. Watch out for those at the start of rounds. Watch out for Kesnit!
Oh, goodness me. Yeah, if you're not awake after that, you will be. This guy is ridiculous, Kesnit. He's playing the Omen as well. I mean, a lot to make out from this Crew comp.
So he has actually played Omen once before, weirdly. You don't ask me when, I've no idea. I was just looking at the stats and, all right, okay, apparently he's played it once. So, very experienced Kesnit on the Omen.
Of course. Yep. To be expected.
He knows all the tech,
He
like
knows
buy
all
a
of
Sheriff and kill them in round 2.
Yeah.
Tens loves that one.
With the mid player taken out, though, Buzz gone. It's a big gap in through. You can already see the pings on the minimap from DRX. They're worried in case there are those lurking players. And the Harbor Wall, Melzer holding it down at least. He will be able to separate out most of this site. Foxy9 wants to play close now. Avoiding, letting them even getting into the site here in front of the Cove. It's very heads up, but he's going to be overwhelmed anyway. Outlaw into the hands, flashback into the secondary, but not able to land the Sheriff shot. Still, Mako is here, waiting to receive. They're all going down to the classic right clicks. It's a disaster right now for DRX.
They'd won the pistol. They'd won the pistol. They'd given themselves a little bit of breathing room to work with after getting flattened 13-2 on Haven. And then Kesnit gets that opening pick and it all spirals out of control.
No way.
The decision to play up aggressive at the A choke point as well, I didn't mind it. He got in front of the Cove, he got inside of it, but there was just way too many players.
Yeah.
And against, when you're on an anti-eco there, you're playing into the people with classics in hand. It's just, it's a fine decision on a rifle round, bad decision on an anti-eco, I think. MTA's already got null command online, but it's Heat's ability to get out of here unscathed.
Yeah.
That might be more important, because he's just donated a Vandal over. They're looking to recover this.
Kesnit is just going for it, man. He's not shying away from the fight. Does he realize that one player slipped past him, though, and including that rifle, picked up, at least the guns, but flashback off to the side. And as well, we'll just put one straight to the dome, but lots of players ready to receive, and it will be no resurgence, at least from DRX into that round. Just a little bit of damage, but again, the guns being at least picked back up, and not even a worry, I think, for Crew. If you're looking at the money situation, you'd think they were cheating. You've got about 7K in the bank on some of the players.
There is one positive here for DRX, though. They got a kill with their bundle.
And they are playing for that.
Yeah.
They are playing for that.
I mean, they've got to be getting value here out of Buzz's Operator.
They need to.
I think that's an enormous win condition for them.
And Buzz was unbelievable in the playoffs, at least regionally in Pacific. I was so high up on him, man. I had him like as my second highest player in terms of who I was rating coming into the event.
Now that's crazy.
I've got the opposite of the Midas touch, because so far I'm not predicting any team correctly or player. but Buzz needs to get value, and his opping has been consistent in the past. This time, though, the wall rips its way across, and as well with these doors broken, DRX are watching it with a crossfire said, but it weakens a lot of the other extremities as a result. Asks a lot of them.
Buzz can shore up the B extremity, so it's only really A that you're worried about. But once things go silent, now you're concerned that KRU are grouping up and about to hit into, you know, Buzz with a drone to push him off the angle, or hit into A. Mako's going to be confident enough to jiggle peek out A and get a little bit of information, a bit of security there. So they're feeling good about the A site right now, but all throughout, they're having to be careful towards mid. 0 point now thrown out towards A main again. DRX still feel like A is safe, and that's exactly the timing that KRU are using to group up. Straight after that 0 point. It's perfect calling from Melzer.
Exactly, and Kesnet's still inserted as well, which means Foxy9 has to have his eyes directed into a different location. Mako is the sole recipient of all of this aggression of smoke. Just lay it down nice and early and sprays it away and will play for his life. But the door's going to be broken. Still trying to take this fight offset with the movement. It's nice by Flashback. He does answer straight back into it. Drone. It's going to be used, pressing forwards. Melzer's alone, though, and isolated. Rezzed up. Adjustment. Transferring with the rifles, and now no time. Not available here for KRU. They will be dropping and falling. 2 for 2 now in terms of the rounds. DRX, better beginning than Haven, at least.
DRX continue to have that awareness of the mid insert, knowing that somebody could still be there, could be using that earlier map control to slink through. And Mako went for the same play inside the smoke towards A main that we'd seen on that fateful anti-eco that looked like it was going to send Abyss spiraling in the same direction as Haven. The DRX have got there too. Now it's time to push further forwards. They're not going into this op on B. It's only ever been a single player to make sure and give them information.
Look at this.
Yeah, that's a hard read.
Hard read, hard anti-strat.
DRX have been playing a ton of Abyss.
Yeah.
If you wanted to look at any team in the world, I think DRX, I don't have the numbers to hand, but I think DRX have played it the most. It feels like they opt into it a lot. They've been picking it tons in Pacific. So they're comfortable there, but it also means you kind of have a read on how they play. And they do the same stuff a lot, like this position from Buzz. I'm surprised he's still here, to be honest.
Yeah, but there's a blind spot in the cam too, so he's available to be perched up here. Anybody to break the drone? No, it's him himself who has to commit to this, and a lot of utils going to be sent flying forwards. KRU not backing away from this fight. In fact, they want to be the ones to draw that blood up and the bound. This quick scoping, Buzz is able to find the one, and there's no return of that fire. No trade in sight, still alive and kicking. And finally the reinforcements flooding back in and around, but the bullets running out. Buzz, how the hell are you still alive here? Dash back online, Shorty in his hands. Foxy9 finally there with him. Over the shoulder, leaving it just down to Shy. Bullet straight through. And Buzz, the miracle worker,
finally challenged on B, finally delivers. It's not that he was whiffing in earlier rounds, they just weren't coming towards his sight.
Yeah.
And he wasn't being particularly mobile with the op. It's a ridiculously large map. But here you see a bit of what you were talking about earlier, Brent, that form he was demonstrating towards the end of the Pacific playoffs. Get him an op into his hand, and if you challenge him, if you come into him, he's so good at playing around the utility, playing around these angles, and around the way that his teammates are going to flood in, using him as a distraction. Now he's going to take it towards mid, so he's found that success on the west side of the map, and now looks to see if he can bring the sniper rifle to the middle. I don't think he's really going to get the angles here against the harbor.
No, double smokes, very difficult to get yourself through.
I must wait a moment.
Despite that fact, though, DRX are up in terms of the economy. It's not KRU down. Drone around the mid round here. Util broken with the cam. Taken care of.
Nice and bold from Buzz, getting himself back onto these angles. So much better re-clear of mid this round. But look, it's still going to be a split.
Yeah,
Buzz could definitely ruin this.
It's all about whether or not Buzz can even spot this one out. But again, High Tide works its way across. We'll call it for that pause. Oh my, okay, that is scary stuff. Pushing back and through. Flashback takes the timing pass, but it's watched for. Traded out and around. Hunter's Fury up through heaven. That's a connection onto the two, but they weren't anticipating that the players would hold their ground. It's down to just Heat. Last one left in through A main, but the spike is dropped down. Unobtainable. With only 25 seconds to work with. Running short of basically any sort of win cons. He'll contact most of the way, but a discipline of DRX here. It's just watching every approach. Bane catches it. I know where Heat is. Only 8 seconds left. This is a round win for DRX, just about how they play it. And Heat will look to do any sort of damage, not that it's going to matter too much. At this point, DRX are perfectly happy. Economy is booming, it's flourishing. They're saving for a house, even in this market.
No one's saving for a house in this market.
That's true.
Good luck putting a deposit down with 9K. KRU are going to take a tag time out here. This map starting to get away from them. I actually like the idea that they came into the round with, but you could argue that Buzz has just won 2 rounds in a row for his team. Despite the fact he didn't really get kills in this round, that updraft to get all of the info that it was an A split allowed and encouraged Foxy9 and Bane to stand their ground there despite the Hunter's Fury. If they didn't realize that that play was happening, they'd probably think that's...
Slouches, I think, combined as well. They are a good team on that one, but it is scary when you see a team that normally has their permapan and they floated it all the way towards the end. It basically screams, we've set up a bit of a trap play, or an anti-strat.
Yeah. At the same time, though, DRX are really good there, so... Very solid team on Vine.
Yeah.
KRU are putting such an emphasis on the middle of the map, trying to get value out of this harbor. DRX their players are being drawn into this area, but it's not like KRU have been able to exploit that by exploding into sites.
Yeah, they have been dragging, as you mentioned, players to watch it, even potentially going for a contact re-clear.
This is
Foxy9
wild.
is alone when he sees this one. Only the one play, it's Kesnet jumping, hopping around, but the fact that there was no punish should be a tell in itself. There's that solo player flash peek as well, Kesnet. Might see a bit of an overheat as well. He's still got plenty more util where that comes from. TPing all over the place here, but calling for that pause and a different angle for Buzz, but still the same value. This guy has got that consistency when you put that up into his hands. And considering the dart just to get that info, but he spotted one player before the smoke was up, so he knows that there's at least some presence into this mid angle. Again, they've called for that reinforcement. Buzz, though, smoked off now. In for the wall, he's going to hear these footsteps right past him. Will tilt away, and there aren't really enough discipline in terms of the way the KRU are playing this one, but potentially able to barrel their way through regardless with that brute force. It is chaos. The spike is just isolated, picked up by Kesnet. TP's back and away again. Anchoring players, not expecting it. Flashback. That's nasty.
KRU are trying everything they can, working the middle of the map, more than most teams would on Abyss, and DRX stands strong. Buzz is AWPing. As soon as they got that into his hands, and as soon as he actually got the read on which areas of the map KRU were going to challenge, it's been a game changer.
Yeah.
It has shifted the momentum in this map massively. And playing different angles too. He was just trying to post up on that classic high ground on B. Now he's playing all the way back in heaven, then maneuvering his way over towards mid.
Mixing up a decent amount. KRU going for that 1-1-3. This is really risky. But Bane comes out on top anyway. He was in no man's land and in no position to get a kill either, yet still comes up with it. A nasty adjustment.
Termi was worried about the firepower diff, but I think with the performances we've seen in these last few rounds from the DRX players, not something to be concerned about. Actually, I think it was more so the flood defending from KRU that Termi wasn't given enough credit to be honest, in that coach's interview, which we'll see whether that has impact in this game once the sides swap.
Exactly.
But for the moment, not really getting much value out of this. Are they going to try to commit Harbor ult here? It's good against an Opper, but Buzz dodged it last time.
Yeah, drone's going to be used at least to, again, circumvent that position. But Flashback is caught by the knife here. And as well, that golden beam of light up and over. Flashback is forced to make that play. Pushing forwards is traded. Hunter's Fury used to try and help them out. Buzz as well, he tried to get back into the action. He's dropped as a result of it. Now the plant position isn't the best here. Playing to the side of Cliff. These are KRU do have to commit a lot of bodies to try and hold on to side control. That does leave an opening for DRX. They've saved some util. It's in their back pocket. The dart and a paranoia MTA in the off angle. Needs to be that trade shy. He joins up, links it all the way through. Bane spotted up onto that high ground. Has to know what his last 2 players are. But now, wrapping around once more. Slowly as you go. But a real difficult round to win. Set up here. Shy taking that first one. Knows there's a player tucked. Again, the off angle will not save you, but again, time is of the essence, and it's starting to tick away out of the grasp of Bane. Win cons diminishing, and with, yeah, I mean, that's gone with a circle just shrinking. And Shy wins it out regardless of the kill at the end.
Similar game plan from KRU, except less focus towards mid. Pure site exec, overwhelm behind the Reckoning. But this time, the important thing being that Buzz didn't find too much value. He's in a spot where, in theory, he might be able to get 1, 2 playing around that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
God.
Back to the operator for Buzz.
And another big test, but this time DRX.
Massive stack.
Yeah, hell of a read. They've got 4 players waiting.
They've been putting the site. Oh, they're doing the flash and dash play.
Flash and dash play to try and fight for that control early on into the cloudburst, but the dart doesn't reveal too much. And Buzz, yeah, I mean, he handed over towards that weaponry. Players have dropped though. That was Mako committing an ult into spawn at the same time. And he's going to be paying the price for that. So the slow play, I mean, you really have to overextend yourselves as a defender to try and fight over that B main angle, as you saw, and it ends up meaning that DRX was stretched a little bit too thin.
I assume that DRX have chosen this round because they were worried about the null command that MTA's just popped. You don't want to allow KRU to get into position and just exec on you with this ult. So they tried to disrupt the game plan. Fortunately, doesn't quite work for them. Can they recover here?
Yeah, they're right back into it. Flashback though, backs away, just only with the 1 kill. He wants to play for his life, and he knows it. At least with the teammates who are arriving, but not expecting that Melter's already crept up onto that deeper angle. Shy, finally with the plan, there's no chance in hell MTA is getting a res online, so he's going to be dropped just post-mortem. Bane, high ground angle reset, at least enough to get the 2, and Flashback dropped down into that 1v2, not enough. Can't overcome it. KRU with that discipline, doubling up and contacting together to win that round out 5-4.
Good reaction at the end there with the double swing. 1 wide, 1 shallow. Make it very difficult for DRX to win the round. How did Mako end up dying in spawn? That is such a bizarre one. He's just trying to make use of the distraction as the fast push came out B. Like you said, to Omen ult into spawn. that's an interesting idea. Doesn't quite work. So far, the success from DRX has come from trying to hard anchor sites.
Has to get broken here. Glide its way forwards. Knife does not get broken, so Buzz wanted away from the angle. He'd love to be back up on top of him. But
and KRU walk away from Buzz.
Yeah.
Ah, the player with the op who's been ruining our chances of getting into sight. So I think we'll go the other way, actually.
Completely different angle.
Heat looking to maybe invest the drone here to fake as if it could be over towards B. But the team's grouping up on A. Look how weak the A site is right now. Only Mako home.
And DRX aware of that, though. The drone clears most of the way through B main. 55 seconds onto the mark. KRU could call a cancel, but with how big the map is, Knife tagging just onto the 1.
Only 1. And now, as the drone comes out from Heat, surely they don't group up A on defense.
It could be false confidence for DRX. They do have the crossfire. Mako, paranoia. They know he's isolated onto that corner, spamming away into the 1-way. MTA, he can't respond and he can't back his teammate up. They are trying to fight this one, pound for pound. Mako, he's just swinging into this one with really barely any util. Left 4 and Buzz happy to oblige and take part into the action and fight. And up through mid as well. Everyone dealt with, everyone accounted for. A flawless round for DRX.
Good read from Mako there. Newer to the IGL role, but reading out that that drone coming towards B was a fake, didn't over-rotate. In fact, took the aggressive option himself, made sure that they were playing towards the choke, made sure it was impossible for KRU to get through. Looked like there was potential there for DRX to let this lead slip, but they've recovered. Minimum of 6 at the half is so much better than the way that they opened here at Champs. And of course, huge economy advantage heading into this.
Yeah, it's been KRU consistently on that back foot. A lot of players tagged, at least the 2 as well. KRU still just trying to brute force their way past this one into the 1-way, but rivals in hands. DRX will hold this one. You're not going to be favored there. There's no util to set up DRX into any sort of advantage. Or at least KRU, I should say.
I think that's a spot where KRU should probably be investing smokes. Seems weird to smoke off your own avenue, but just to take a little bit of control. That's a headshot, knocks Bane down weak.
DRX
Could there still be danger in the 3v5?
Yeah, you don't want to let this one slip, do you? But seems like they're grabbing necessary kills across the map. Not sure how that one came about here, but Cove makes it difficult. Flashback's already way ahead of it in a distraction play. Bane capitalizes. This is a much better beginning, as we already mentioned in that prior round for DRX on this map here. It's flawless. They got that momentum back at least as well. And, you know, was feeling rattled from this team. I was wondering if they were going to be able to pick themselves back up with so many players, you know, pushed into new roles themselves, despite the fact that they're veterans like Mako on the IGL, but all these new rookie players, despite the fact that they've been playing in front of the home crowd for most of this year regionally, it is a difference maker when they are at the biggest event of the year.
They still have one final test to get over, though. 7 rounds is good at the half, but Crew are now coming in with that Harbor ult, Sova ult. It's a great combo. It's very effective. Got to imagine they're going to use it here on one of the sites.
Careful.
It's a battle towards this main angle. No one dealt with the dart.
What a play from DRX.
TP up.
That is absolutely lovely. Reminiscent of what teams will sometimes do in that Ascent A main play. DRX have taken all of the sting out of this round. The Reckoning down instantly. The teleport up recon so that you can get kills through your smoke. Yeah, Buzz falls. Crew have been able to find kills like this in the 3v5 spots, but normally the damage has already been done too early.
Yeah, and DRX have been usually tempered enough that when these sites get pressured, especially over towards B, doesn't matter. You're going to be able to get a kill, back away.
Wow, my eyes are down.
Never overextending their hands here. Flashbacks gets that acknowledgement. Cage are going to be put back up here. Shock darts removing most of the trips. Knife for a knife, darting through the back as well. Needs to be broken here. Crew starting to walk their way back up, but again, all the noise is being made, and DRX should know this one. Adjustment, Flashback, he was blind as a bat, yet still manages to come up with the one before the trade online. Kesnit, it's just an ult to try and pick up the spike. It was out into the middle of nowhere. A tap with 22 seconds left, but you've got to start to commit into this, and again, ice cold by DRX. Happy to slow it down, and now the full commit by Kesnit. Paranoia makes his way across, leaves it just down to the one. Kesnit backs himself away. He's hoping that he'll be able to get that easy fight. Singular in action. Does isolate just the one onto Foxy9, but it's still a 1v2 to overcome. Smoke up into the one way, but one for their own here. Jumping around. A tap. There's the danger zone. Kesnit in potentially a bit of trouble. The dart pushes him back and away in, and up for Bane to just get that half. Sticking and grabs it.
Too much health for Bane. Kesnit, a valiant effort, but DRX get 8. What a different beginning compared to Haven. I thought there was a chance that DRX capitulated there, but they've done such a good job during that gap between map 1 and map 2 at regaining their mental. And what a play here.
Yeah, what a play as well. This is a much better beginning for this second map here. We'll be finding out if they can keep that going as well if we end up going to that map number 3.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Take mid-control on their attack side and it not find very much value. Here on the pistol, Crew have got 4 players stacked on A. They're not going to be able to do any aggressive flash and dash combo stuff. Feels more like a read that DRX would be heading in this direction on the pistol. It leaves B extremely weak. And what we saw from Crew was success with flood retaking. You can't flood defend if you're not close to the site that's being hit. This map is enormous. If DRX went for a B exec right now, Crew would still be migrating.
Yeah.
The Great Western Push.
It is. It's massive. Rotation timings are a big problem for a lot of teams. There's a kill trip that's laid down, even though there's a heaven smoke, but by walking all the way up, DRX able to navigate it easily enough. Going for the plant down. It's a good plant spot too. Committed into the boxes. It's very strong into the post plant. You can allow most of DRX now to retreat into the main angle.
Crew are trying to retake here with no flashes.
And they're just trying to make a go of it. They've already made their way in through the side. And watching that one, Flashback gets taken care of. In through mids, and a peek by Foxy9 is not set up at all. Buzz trying to at least even out the odds of the fight to be taken. Again, doesn't adjust in time up through that heaven spot. And now Melter sticking at the fuse, spamming into the angle, but a Cove defending against most of these bullets. Half is earned. Another smoke. Blooms and blossoms. Kesnet with the kill. An adjustment again. Flick of the wrist, tapping away with the guns, and it has to be reclaiming it. Bane back it up and running into it. Oh my goodness! That's 4 from him. And a pistol round once more garnered for this DRX team.
Bane, a divine blessing for DRX towards the end. How's he managed to pull that one away? KRU looked like they had that under wraps. They're still trying to play this retake style. I don't think they should have been using as much util early in the round. It would have been nice to see them still have a paranoia or a breach flash, a KO flash to be able to retake there on B. But the way that they just play around each other, it's solid. It took everything from DRX to be able to repel that. A 4K from Bane. KRU is still putting a really heavy emphasis over towards A. 4 players beginning on that side of the map. Feels like VOD prep to me.
Yeah, potentially just praying for an early skirmish as well when they're on the eco.
Alternatively, they might be very confident in their B retakes from scrims and less confident on A, but that would be a weird way to play the map.
Yeah, most of the time you see teams trying to fend towards the backside of A. KRU have rooted themselves in, at least for this round. It's a gamble stack, of course, and DRX are going to be handed a nice open sight over towards B.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be any danger here. We're seeing Mako's calling, be very cautious though, doesn't want to run into any of these stacks. Foxy flashes, looking to see if he can get some info.
Might hand over a gun if he's not careful.
I don't like this. You normally want to be sending Flashback to do that because he's the one with the ghost.
30 seconds left.
You've just prime delivered them a bulldog.
Yes. And it's not ideal despite that. I mean, DRX, they have an open sight, still planting for Cliff. I'm going for something potentially a little bit better for it, but
Camera, I must wait a moment.
KRU now grouping up, ready. Try and make a good go of it. The cam was saved just for a rainy day, and that was now, so they get that information that there's 2 players from DRX out through into the back. Got to wait for these smokes now to get pushed up into the position. 1 flash held. We'll see if there's any danger very soon here for KRU. Drone used, time already running short here, but that Bulldog finding value. It's up to these site anchoring players. Mako trying to reposition up and around, and again, Kesnet a tap onto it. No way you can let this. You squandered an opportunity. Not again. Kesnet sticking. Half everybody's fallen, but the time is on their side. KRU with a thrifty win.
Now, I don't want to point to the fact that there was a bulldog for the retaking team, but it did find a bit of value there.
Oh yeah, it found the opening kill, man.
And again, another post plant over towards B that looked very difficult, this time impossible for DRX to hold on to.
Oh boy.
If they're going to be planting safe like this every time, their post plants need to be better. They need to be able to stop KRU from getting back in. It's only been pistols in their hand and a donated bulldog. The rifle rounds might be very worrying here.
Kesnet is not one to back away from a fight and a challenge. He's trying to get that back up again by MTA, overextending and overcommitting.
He pulled his knife out like he was the most confident player in the world. There was only 3 there. Could not be more surprised to see extra players. He was like, what, I haven't aced already?
He's damaged up, worse for wear, but still surviving here. Drone spotting the last 2. See if it bites them, handing over to Guardian. Flashback's already dropped though, so very little chances of this now as well. Foxy9 will be shortly following suit.
Denying another one of the Kesnet aces. So rifles finally come on board. Round 16. We're seeing both teams with good economies. I'm concerned if DRX go into another B exec. That is where they're grouping up on the minimap. But these post plants have been... They've been rough.
Yeah,
they haven't even been pressuring the KRU retake. They just give them all the space in the world to run back into the site, and then they're like, oh, whoopsie daisy, now we have to stop them from defusing.
And yeah, just looks like a lot of exec util. Everything being combined. Concatenated. Shido just takes a bullet to the side there. Thought he was safe, at least into his cage. And now KRU have much less options in terms of trying to deal with this one. They won't be able to push back the plant.
Better
That's
plant.
going to go down, and it is a better plant at that. So DRX holding their positions now. The flank from Kisnet will have to find value, and he does have options to at least get past the initial trip. Drone in and through, and spotted. Buzz out, tagged up, pushing them back and away. They still know two of these players here, but that's being heard by Flashback, and he deals with the flank. Pesky problem of Kesnet dealt with now. Flash in through the back as well, and bullets to follow through off the back of it. Hunter's Fury forced to be used here, but a knife is going to be cancelling that one out, so no, oh no, just out of range. I stand corrected, and a tap of the spike will force them out wide. MTA now got to do the most, but with the rifle in his hand, just not enough to get over that barrier. Still heat, adjustment, snappy, tapping away. Can't quite get it, the easy kill. Time was never on his side.
Tragedy or a comedy, depending on which side of the table you want to sit on there, who you're rooting for, DRX or KRU. This time, though, that different plant position, in my opinion, makes all the difference. And yeah, they still had Hunter's Fury to work with in the post, too. But the fact that you're planting in that better spot, more open, that you can play both sides of the pillar, people on site can play around as well, it's super helpful to have it in that kind of position. KRU are going to take a tactical timeout. They're down 4 rounds. So readable. In the end, DRX, yes, Mako's new to the IGL role. Yes, they have 3 rookies. They're not stupid. They're a really competent team. They're here at Champs. They're going to be able to figure out a setup like that if you run it the same way every time.
Paranoia, to come on position there. It's going to be catching most of this one, and draft. Oh my God, just dashing into the face of it. Yeah, full understanding that Shy was going to be backing away. There's only a few positions he can play. Flashback. Looking up through mid, there's supposed to be that instant response from KRU as well. Ults are being committed with the no command sweeping through, but he's missed the chance to strike from behind.
Patience!
Yeah, it's not being played just in that moment here, but MTA dropped down to his knees. A res possibility for it. DRX did get that plan a little bit prior. As there, tap onto the spike, forcing out most of the util. Kisnet smokes to play with, util on top of it. Nades rebounding, echoing past. Flashback stepping up to the challenge, right past most of this fight. Meltzer not able to stick this one, sprayed and spammed down onto that angle. Heat trying to get tricky with it again, pushing and forcing the issue, but Buzz, the timing is impeccable. Dart reveals Kesnet is alone and not enough to overcome.
And the round that may decide the map goes the way of DRX. KRU out of the back of the tactical timeout. Didn't look like they'd adjusted too much there. They were lucky to get away with it, not get caught by that mid lurk. The DRX looking like they're making the adjustments that are doing the job. Wow. Shy adjusted his positioning, but Buzz was on top of his head within the first 10 seconds of the round.
Yeah. It's because of the knife they've been conditioning with. They've been using it against the box, so Shy hasn't been able to anchor the back of the side position.
I think Shy should be playing essentially off-site at this point.
Yeah, retake, maybe up heaven.
And I think he should have been doing that. That's in strategy in the middle of these games. What have you done? Okay.
To me, man. I don't know.
Getting back into it then. This is do or die for KRU. This really is the last chance for them to adjust the setups. And they have made a bit of a swap. Shy is now playing off-site towards B. They've got 2 players there on the B side of the map ready to support. This is finally them threatening mid-control.
Yeah, which we thought they were going to do.
We thought they were going to do tons of this. This is the first round where we've really seen it. Is it too little too late?
There's bullets flying past, melts it. It's his teammates trying to make it feel like there is still obviously presence to the top of the site. There's nobody that's lurked up. Trust me, guys, Mel's is not pushed up in this spot. It's a difficult one. Ult committed. That's an interesting one, yeah. I mean, Maka's right through this, and the timing taken right past them here. And this is going to be a squeeze and a pinch into these A anchoring players. MTA dropped straight to the floor here. Hunter's Fury being used to again push them back. Heat will be able to get at least some value from that with Mako falling. Flashback holding off angle. Claims to kill onto Melza. And DRX to kill feed that is filled up with red, at least for now. Kesnet traded. And so all the options that at least were present, available, removed shortly after here for KRU. Not able to hold their ground onto that one.
And brutal. I mean, look at the webcam for Heat.
Yeah.
It looks like he's had a tech issue again. That is a brutal one. A tilter, too, because damage already done in the round. Listen, I don't work for Compops, but the rules, as I understand them, are that you're not going to replay a round like this.
Not if there's been damage done.
He was also in a 1v3, so from our outside perspective, very unlikely for that to be a winning scenario for him. It looked like DRX were massively in control of the round. But as a player in that spot, you're feeling like your agency has been taken away. That's the kind of stuff that puts you on tilt. After you won 13-2 on the previous map.
It's a tilter.
I feel like I'm talking about the mentality of both of these teams a lot, but you heard it from the desk too. This crew squad, they live and die by their emotions.
They do.
They are such an emotion-driven, fierce, red-hot team when things are working. And then stewing on the 69, not as much experience.
Yeah.
We're back.
We are back. We are back. And yeah, at this point, staring down the inevitable, which is DRX most likely walking away with this map. They are grouped up. They are ready to go, raring to go over towards A. It's a slow wait, seeing if the knife gets used, but the timing of it is awkward, so it is going to catch most of them here. Pushing them back and away. And they want nothing to do with A now, not that they showed at least presence towards that area of the map. Maybe that was always part of the game plan.
Shy is pushing up. So this is the first time we've seen Shy go aggressive on defense over here.
Yeah, might be able to at least get a kill. There's a fight about to be taken while mid is being pushed.
Flashback's going to miss that.
Yeah. Backing around. It's a real awkward one. Jump spots abound. Up for the ropes. There it is. Flashback strikes. And with Shy down, so goes the setup over towards B. So no command not even necessary. And he's really just done enough. It's 2 removed. Heat. He was running his wee little legs there as fast as humanly possible. But at this point, it's weakening out the defenders. Player spotted out over towards the A side. There is time still available. And with all this space gained and pushed up, vacuumed up here. Flashback even with that third. It's cracked open a side and essentially won them the map with that.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't curtains already for Crew, that lurk play and those kills have certainly driven the dagger into the heart.
Yeah.
Kesnet and MTA looking to pick up the pieces. Ooh. And it's a 4K, possibly on for the ace here as well. Can MTA shut it down, or are DRX going to be thrown into bind?
MTA survives, flashbacks on 5L, running his way around. No ace today. But it is inevitable. MTA just making us all wait for a little bit. He's going to give it a good go, but already, look at the angles to account for here. I mean, Buzz has already just taken up this position into Spawn Blade Storm right behind him. Let's knives out. He's behind him. He's toying with him. He's walking up right behind him. Oh, no, 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 no. It's like a horror movie. But 13-6 for the finish. Map 3 bind. Over towards B, trying to crunch areas. This looks like a fight towards short A.
Well, it actually might end up being a crunch just through the other teleporter.
Yeah.
If we see Shy take a little bit of space and have that Viper contact battle.
Bane hears all the noise, including the stimmy. Doesn't choose to use the C's nice and early here. It's a big tool to try and delay this one as well. He actually gets it a little bit too early, but there are, crunch online now. Triggering that play. It's a nade into the corner and Shy isolated. Push back TPs on TPs. Crew want nothing to do with it. But the molly is preemptive. Drops them down, including a smoke in their face. Mako has locked them well out of that site.
Perfect play so far from DRX. But now, as Crew reset,
they're going running around the world.
They're not going to know exactly where people like Flashback are. And they're not going to know that it's a 4-player stack, but Crew are much more grouped up.
Walking around here, just onto the corner, expecting that re-clear, but crouched up. The bullet's just not quite landing. Only the one for Flashback. Melzer, sitting nice and pretty, still with that shower's control. Buzz, it's a level of awareness there for him.
And this is good. This is a nice read here from Melzer. When Flashback dies, you're expecting Crew to accelerate into B. That's where the defenders go.
Buzz seeing signs of life down for a short. Foxy9 over the top there with the Dizzy as well. Forces Melzer out into that fight, crouched up Heat. He removes Buzz. No longer a problem into this round, but a spike has also been dropped down. Tap from Heat, seeing if there's that second wave of things. Again, out wide and open. Not enough of the movement, and time now is thoroughly against him. MTA, a lot to do in this spot. Forced to at least get the kills or stick, but it's an impossibility. DRX have played that one to perfection, despite the mid-round adjustments of Crew being on point.
A great round from DRX. Perhaps a hint of things to come with one of these teams being much more comfortable on bind than the other. The crunch through, and Shy not recognizing that potential of the threat. It's a difficult read to go for, because they had no info towards short, but he got sandwiched. Absolutely flattened.
Nice! Nice!
There's some emotion. Okay. And it sets up the economy nicely for DRX. Catching the players out towards B long here. Crew are grouped up, all 4 of them. Orb in the face, though, makes it nice and difficult. Nice from the perspective of DRX, not willing to give them too much ground.
Just trying to piece off the map, portion by portion, see if they can build up to large ultimates. Normally you're going to see the attacking team want to build up their Thrash first. It's the one that tends to come online.
Take a little bit of a TP here, straight into the open arms of Bane. That is a lovely adjustment. A lot to overcome there, even if they are eco kills.
That might let him catch up to Heat's ultimate.
Yeah, shows that he's on point with it. Large part of this composition that Crew are running, it relies on the ultimates to try and generate fast execs that can't really be stopped by anchoring players.
And they don't really have one. They're going to be heading into round 3. Heat's the closest. And that Nightfall, I don't think it's on its own good enough to really be a massive execute tool.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of room over towards B if you take Long and Hookah. But Heat is still 3 away from that, so, you know, we're not really going to see it online for a little while. DRX with an opportunity to convert on a bonus round. Flashback takes up position in Hookah with a judge. That's brutal to get through. At any time on bind, in any part of this map's history, that is brutal to get through.
Doesn't matter if you're on a bonus, man. Listen, it's good, even on a full buy.
I'll find you.
Haunt out through the smoke, Bane.
There.
It's broken, so there's some acknowledgement for him.
And that sends Buzz, he was playing a float position in spawn, it sends him more towards the A site.
Flashback would love any of these Crew players just to walk straight into him, but nobody's budging right now. Crew making sure that they try and play that slow siege. That's a walk up, and I think just a pre-fire into the corner as the orb was coming up, but hard to tell. Shido.
They may have got the timing wrong.
It's a massive kill.
As you said, Flashback has his orb over there, but Foxy9 looked like he was caught out in the open. Have to see that one in a replay. Kesnit still with a huge amount of patience, knows there's a serious chance that there's a shotgun on the other side of this.
You have to expect it.
But also at some point, you're probably going to want to go in there and you're not going to have initiator utility.
Try and use the nade to rebound, but depends how deep he'll bank it. Flashback could still be alive.
And you don't know which side he's on.
Exactly. So it's a lot to clear here. Buzz sees a lot of them. Signals now for the wall to go straight back up, and so does the Dizzy. It actually does connect into the tube. Is that Crew going to be sending it forwards? The go button is hit ever so slightly here. There's a lot of util being used. Again, it's disjointed, but that's partly because you see the Molly's already been placed down as well. So Crew being stunned with only 15 seconds left, and this has bought time for DRX. They've got players into the spot and a position, and Kesnit just goes for the widest space in the world to clear it. Doesn't work out. Still alive onto the corners. Molly at their feet. They can't step over it. They can't get access to it. Jumping around, making a mockery of the round. DRX are converting this bonus.
From what we've seen on Bind so far, and from what we saw in Abyss, it's like a totally different team for Crew. They haven't even been pushing DRX that much.
Yeah.
You know, rounds like that, they fall apart so easily. Kesnit just walks into a judge, and the others are stopped by small pieces of defensive utility. Nothing earth-shattering that DRX are doing. A jump spot, a nade, smokes down, and then Crew are forced to push through the smokes without their entry player, and it all falls apart.
Yeah. I think there's pieces of the puzzle that are missing here for Crew.
I agree.
If you're playing the attack side, you have to pull out the Molly, Snake Bite, you know, Mosh Pit, whatever it might be, but any sort of that stall util in every capacity as well, because it's going to deny the plant, it's going to deny you even being able to go into these execs, and you're going to be tested in that space. We've been talking a lot about kind of mentality with these teams, especially because DRX got slapped around, dismissed on map 1. It immediately was answered back on Abyss with a rather tilting tech pause for KRU. And right now it seems like DRX haven't slowed down from that map 2 here. This is a very committed off angle. Kesnit is quick to respond there, and he's good with the movement on top of it still. With Shy dropped, they're getting themselves into the site. So Nightfall scatters his way across, does connect onto a multitude of targets, but Bane is not to be pushed back and away here. Tries to at least offset his movement enough to survive, but he's going to be dropped in the process. Now through onto the side, MTA planting. Moshpit and Snakebite rebounding, but it's a little bit too late there. Just missing the mark, so still getting into that plant. He's for the post of it. KRU. Rifles in the hands, Melds is spotted out, and spam through the box will do the job. It's methodical here by DRX. Take their time with most of this here. MTA only with the Sheriff to work with. He would have to hit a miracle shot, including the Sheriff in the hands of MTA, but it's just not happening. Peeking around. The wingman taps that first point of the fuse. They know exactly where Heat is. He's going to be not long for this world. And the fuse is completed. Slightest amounts of danger there in the round, but still DRX looking like they're more than comfortable to navigate it.
You're right that there was some danger, but it also took them the Nightfall, which was the first ult that they got up to. And MTA had 3 opportunities to try to get a kill with the Sheriff. Couldn't get any of them. Yeah. And that would have brought it into a 2v2, and then we're really talking about danger.
This is, I mean, a timeout round since 2021. When they attend these champs, they never really make a deep run in it. You know, still early days in map 3, but for now, in terms of what we're seeing, rather dejected KRU, they're going to have to turn it around if they want to see if they can dispel that narrative. Deep orb is used here by KRU. Shy's own. Feels like they could be walking all the way up here past that orb.
Trying to control the B orb as well and make sure that that's not something that a player like Kesnit could take away and get his showstopper online. You see that DRX are trying to control both of the alt orbs. Stop KRU from getting those active.
Orb's going to have to be dropped as well. KRU looking like they want to try and lurk potentially up through A short. Got to save some fuel in the tank for that one, for the wall to be up and abound. And this is a classic from KRU. They love to contact into these plays, but again, might be to their own demise.
Buzz is getting called back to the A site. He's the player with a showstopper and nade and blast packs. It should be very difficult to get plant down, even if KRU exec short.
Wall up. We're waiting for that timing. Now the util is going to be following up past it. Up and over. Doesn't clear out Maka though. There's nothing for a showstopper in the hands. It's returned there and a swing off from the side. Bane still alive and kicking, but will fall in the end. That's Heat to drop him. Shower's control is going to be given up and lost. A flank timing here by Flashback. Out and around. And a full avoidance of lamps. KRU wanted nothing to do with it, so they didn't give up their lives to the judge here. A lot is going to be resting on the shoulders of Flashback, who we're watching right now, but slipping past. Here's the footsteps. Running around. Got to wait for this wall to drop as well. He's going to be given the easy kill. Yes, he is. And DRX, they make sure to swarm. It's disciplines and an ult in the back pocket of Foxy9 will basically seal it up. Checkmate at that point.
DRX with another very nice defense round over towards A. And that's after KRU got about the best case scenario against Buzz's showstopper. If you go 1-for-1 in that spot, the wingman still plants. That's about as good as you're going to get when the Raze on defense has that ult. But it's the post-plant situation that's just brutal for them. Didn't quite get the read on Flashback coming through market, and Foxy9 also winning that crucial battle from Cubby. If you just look at the duels and who's winning them, and the pace of the game, the pace has slowed down, and DRX have started winning a lot more of the rifle fights.
Yeah, and that's an important point to make out, I think, as well, just how much DRX are controlling the tempo. They're not getting sucked into these fights. Map 1 was them honestly losing their cool. They looked frantic. Yeah, I think they were getting sucked in constantly to try and take duels. DRX really going to be tested, I think, in this instance. This is a lot of players up into their face, but again, to judge and hearing it, nobody wants to step past it. Mako spam down Heat. He has answered back, finally. Onto the board there with those 2 kills. A peek from Kesnit, lucky to be alive.
They still haven't used Thrash or Showstopper. Here comes the Thrash.
Now going to be used to not even take much space, just in case it peaks most of it, but they already had control of lamps. MTA will pick it back up for another go of things. Shy still sitting. tucked himself away into showers. One of the best chances they've had in a long time. Wait a second. Util is used. Combined attempt. Kesnet, showstopper, has to use, at least to offset that one. Bane, he's sticking it. And it's not spammable for Shy into the spot. Off onto the angle again. He knows that there's a chance. And it's one out. Shy finally puts one on the board of a Red Bull clutch.
He was good with them on Haven. He won 2 incredibly important clutches for his team. And now he's put the first round on the board on Bind. The fact it ever got to a clutch situation, though, I think is a bit worrying. I really like the util dump, though, that DRX had over towards Lamps.
Yeah, they had a good way to clear Lamps there.
Lovely clear in that spot. But for KRU to be sat in a post plan, everybody in a nice position, and still have to use Thrash and Showstopper, and it comes down to a 1v2, squeaky bum time.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well. Probably getting that connection as well, just from the trail, the haunt up and over. That was used a little bit earlier.
Yeah, the haunt over the top there's a nice one. It's one that DRX uses as well. Often can set somebody up to take B-long control, but DRX are trying to lock that spot down.
Yeah. They have a lot of control over the map right now as well. Doubled up onto B-long, and up in the hands of Buzz so he can watch this Shower's position and angle.
Both teams running their Viper Orb on B-long there, contesting for space, but it's a fake from KRU. The group up called from Melzer. He has Orbital Strike for post plant. If they can just get this plant down, again, they should be in a nice spot. Oh,
Util here might even be choosing to use this one. No, cancels the call here. It's a Nightfall now that's going to be used by DRX. This is a spawn that catches on to absolutely everybody. And all sound cues are deafened. KRU are working partially in the dark. The tap, MTA is looking for that response out. Orbital Strike is used, but into the wrong spot. There's absolutely nobody waiting there. Dizzy around and about. It's KRU trying to fight tooth and nail over this spot into Lamps, but they still don't have this plant down. There's 22 seconds left. Time escaping them. The hourglass running dry. MTA fully committing and tapping onto, finally committing into the spike, and there is that reinforcement. Side by side, Kesnet joining into the fight. Putting down any sort of position at DRX. They were fronting. Trying to take it, but they do have that Showers control still.
Snakebite to clear Lamps.
It's going to be the important elements here. Buzz has already picked up one, but it's already equalized. Nade into the hands, Kesnet. Util out and away. Movement by Bane, almost enough to isolate. Still, players are dropping. KRU, another chance, and it's grasped firmly here to put that second on the board.
More solid in the post plant there, KRU. After a very bizarre ultimate from Melzer, it must be said. But KRU, with that patience, Lamps control, then try to fight a bit towards backside, never really getting lost in these situations, and starting to win those duels as well, even in slower paced scenarios.
I will say, Bane made a good go of it. Did a lot of damage to the short player. Kesnet in the pocket.
Yeah, I still feel like DRX are attempting these fairly nicely. Maybe the operator's not the play, though. If KRU are putting a heavy emphasis on walking down behind the Viper wall and then just execing short, your op is not going to be trying to play around. Marco's going to pick up a judge too, and we've seen that can already find some value.
And they might be talking about what we were just discussing in that timeout, because they had the money to buy an op. They didn't invest into it.
Pit down towards short, Heat with the ult to try to clear it, if they wanted to. Instead, KRU taking a lot of Showers control. They might even try to backwards Nightfall here. Set up that trail and have, you know, Melzer clear flashback from short. There goes Buzz early on.
That's a beautiful shot.
I think you can still commit A here. Flashback is now under so much pressure.
Yeah, he's worried about players potentially lurking up right behind him.
A fade ult into the pit from Showers would go crazy.
Foxy9.
What have they got to do with it?
Yeah. Yeah, not too much.
They didn't make champs.
Jump spot. Out of Nightfall. Going to be committing this one over towards the back of the site. The nade as well. Foxy9 so damn low, just about. Wriggles himself round to the corner, but that's both Snakebite and Mosh Pit that's expended. 44 seconds of KRU in danger of running out of time here. And already with those sound cues cut away as well, they are making their way through. That is rapid. Kesnet, he is leading the charge for his team. Flashback worried as well, still trying to maintain control and his composure. Out towards A short, buying DRX a bit of a wing con as well, but the plant is down. Starting to tick away. Kesnet also with that showstopper.
nobody can really wrap through. Oh, I was going to say no one can wrap through short, but now Flashback hit down. These
Lowers
players
it.
can try.
They're trying to bait them in here. Flashback only for the one still alive though.
The defuse!
No way, Bane! He sticks it! Where's the protocols in place, man?
I've got to assume they thought Kesnit's showstopper was going to deal with it. Kesnit somehow thread the needle with his Raze ult to miss the defuse and, I think, miss the player that was pushing him. And just somehow landed it in the middle.
Yeah.
The splash damage didn't catch.
A lot of unknowns there.
Look at that! The Raze ult just
my.
misses. But I think he was distracted because of that push from Mako. So he's like kind of putting it between the two of them. They still had Melzer's Molly to work with. Like there were so many more layers there. They just thought the Raze ult had done the job. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Disaster time for KRU. Squandering those rounds that should have been easy. Mako is already plays up in front of him. The contact play again works out for KRU. Kesnit not pushed back in a way here. Dizzy over the top. Inside the smoke though. Buzz, he's hiding. Rebound with the nades. It's going to be landing and does deny that plan. There's a nade and a mosh pit all going to be used for Bane trying to help him out. Doesn't fully commit into the fight at the front of the site. He's just about wiggling his way through. Damage is excellent, but still Melzer there with a trade. Fox9 instantly back and at it again. Kesnit, he's here. It's a three-piece for it. Nade rebounds, flashback abound. This guy, there's no safety in terms of anywhere that he can stand as that solo play, and they give it up. KRU, got nothing to do with this.
And because he has to be worried about Shy and Showers, Flashback there had to very diligently clear the angle. He couldn't just sprint over towards B and make it a foot race. This is looking like a save.
Yeah.
Credit's not good. KRU is starting to get a bit of a toehold, let's say,
Yes.
on Bind. It's not a full foothold yet.
No, it's precarious.
But 6-3, working their way back in. At least getting into good post-plant situations like they were in the previous round, even if they mess it up. I'm wondering, though, how many rounds KRU actually need. We have no idea how good their defense is going to look.
Yeah.
This map, again, to remind the viewers, this is their perma-ban that they floated in order to get rid of Ascent, Icebox, DRX's, in my opinion, two best maps.
Stringing together the rounds here for KRU.
No one beats my firepower. I got this.
I wonder if there's anything cooking in the back of the minds of the DRX players about how to stop this contact play, because KRU have just been essentially disrespecting a lot of this util and doing exactly this. I mean, walking up onto the angles. And you might want to buy an operator, but again, you fall into that prior trap of, you know, maybe then they avoid the operator, they go into a different site.
I think
don't get value from it.
You could try to take aggressive short control.
Yeah.
As it looks like they're doing that pistol round setup that we talked about. Aggressive short control. If Flashback takes contact, you sand crunch. It's very solid. They've got big ults in this round too, DRX.
It's still a half buy though. Making sure they save money for the remainder rounds.
Crunch?
Peak is there. There is a possibility to crunch.
Not yet, though.
No, players are sitting there. They backing around. There's a lot of util being used by KRU. Here it is, time to strike. It's being held by KRU. Watched onto that one, but it doesn't matter if he's holding it. He's not ready for this. Foxy9, he's straight back at them. Drops two, and Mako's right there too, alongside it, just watching that A short avenue. Heat. Alongside MTA, last two alive for KRU. They were not expecting that one. Again, it comes down to comfortability onto the map. Are they aware that somebody's here into the TP?
I'm not sure they are.
Rifles flicking around there. They're wondering about it. They're looking
They seem
the
like,
opposite way.
yeah, they know there's some level of danger. All Flashback has to do, though, really is stay alive.
Yeah, he does. And he's going to be the nuisance player now. Wingman's out through and a wide, and the Dizzy can't really see absolutely anything here, but it leaves it again just down to Heat. It's a 1v3, 25 seconds. Spikes drop down. Discipline played by DRX. This is tempered. They back away immediately. They don't want to give up any easy fights with how low Bane and Flashback are. Buying time. You hear the plan. It's committed inside. Heat.
Spike planted.
Hell of a job ahead of him. Gonna isolate these fights. Orbital strike. Does not catch it. Haunt is dealt with. One bullet will drop it. Has to reposition. He's worried about every single angle. Flashback was ready. Aim trained on it.
Works on the pistol. works here in round 10. Beautiful crunch strategy and a great way of dealing with what KRU were throwing at them, those contact plays down short. And I agree with you that it comes down to comfortability. Most teams are going to have protocols. They know that if they hear that teleport sound, they need to get out of there ASAP. And KRU are just a little slow with it. Didn't quite throw counter utility towards the teleport. Doesn't look like they're ready for those kind of, I guess, higher level plays that we see on Bind. And now it's odds and ends for KRU to try to recover this. 8 at the half for DRX or more would be fantastic on the final decider map.
Yeah, and money's back up. There's a thrash on either side. Has been earned up. Again, just walking up through the A short angle. There's a lot of pressure though with this util. But it's flying forward, straight past this one. Foxy9, false confidence maybe. He's peeked out, almost getting a collapse Melter. Again, he was trained onto that spot and position, so they do hand over the gun. It was trained or traded back over, so. And Melter still has control of lamps this entire time. It gives options for KRU if they do choose to make their way back over.
I mean, kind of, but he doesn't know that lamps itself is clear. He hasn't felt confident enough to pick up the weapon yet. Only now is Melzer full clearing lamps, and the fight is happening showers.
Yeah, Bane. Danger. But again, safely navigated with Shy going to be dropped. No longer has to worry about that backstab potential. Here's a Nightfall going to be utilized. Forced to swing out from Melzer. It's not going to be long for that world. Stopper in the back pocket of Buzz is going to be able to use this one for any sort of win cons here. Round 11, but honestly, again, that patience and discipline on display here by DRX. Not willing to overextend or overinvest. Flashback with the wrap around ADS up. He deals with it. 8-3. Looking like a marvelous half so far from DRX.
KRU clearly felt like they had done enough prep work on this map to float it all the way to the end as a decider. But thus far, getting outclassed. Looking quite similar to map 2, I think, where there's competency. They're not getting flattened in the same way that DRX did on Haven. But at the end of the day, each round seems like there's a mistake or an extra play coming out from DRX to push things.
Yeah, and you have to think maybe the gamble of floating this map against the DRX that have looked competent even at some of the worst times on this map regionally.
Yeah.
Hasn't quite paid off.
Huge ultimates here for KRU. If they want to try to push things across the line and get at least 4, trying to work towards the pistol and close the gap to 2 in the next half, they need to be able to get value out of stuff like the Thrash and the Nightfall.
And I've just noticed the buy. I mean, Buzz has got an operator at his feet. At least he did. He's handed it over to Bane. It's a double op setup. Tasted their own medicine from map 1.
Yeah.
Why not when it's flourishing in this way and form? The peak, of course, it's punished there. Foxy9, sharp. Rifles ready to be picked right back up again. Thrash out and through to Seize and a Mosh. All going to be used. 50 seconds down. Wait this one out, but there's a gap, I think. Bane not actually going to be caught by that one. Showstopper used up and over the top here. Dizzy has to be used to respond, and now Buzz right back at it. Ult of his own revealed. Spamming and praying and spraying away. Bane is losing track, but still wrangles the kill. Rifles are there, and they put down these KRU players.
Even with KRU trying to set up a 2-phase push there, the Thrash to bait out defensive utility and then go forwards. Even with them learning as the map went on how they wanted to approach their attack side, DRX 1 step ahead. The power of experience coming from a team with 3 rookies.
Fully turn this one around and now looking primed to take this series. What a turnaround from that first map. They are in that driving seat.
Which carried them to a massive victory there. Even if they wanted to play that kind of style, Bind is such a post-plant map.
Let's see how they set themselves up here. Let's get into it. Round 13. Our final map in the series. DRX fully committed. All the bodies over towards B. Tiptoeing their way around most of this one here. They're going to go for a bit of a B split. Most of their players out and through this. The tried strategy. They do this one quite a lot. Up and through, and Shy just didn't know which way to look. The flood attempt met and shut down Heat. He was caught between a rock and a hard place there. There's no chance of him being able to escape. Spike dropped down, a bit of time earned. Buzz layers down that nade just to give him the safety net to be able to get that plant down.
Now into a solid post. Yes, they don't have any util. 3 versus 2. Buzz does not have a teammate to play off.
No, he's very much alone here. If he goes down, there's chances. Here for KRU, doubled up. This is what they do best, trying to take these fights, but again, just tapping away with the damage done. The game IQ just winning that one out for Buzz. It's 3 in a round for him before he's eventually dropped. Kesnit has to do so much here. Tap. And just walking, trying to bait out that peak, not giving anything whatsoever, tapping away. It's no easy fight. Nades re-earned, but expecting that reflank, and right from behind, it's a dagger to the back. DRX now up to 10.
A lovely execute from DRX. They've got great ideas on their attack side of Bind, and they might be able to keep them fairly hidden, because the lead at the moment, looking like it's going to go to 11-3. They're within touching distance of the finish line. And again, a remarkable recovery from what we saw in map 1, where they just got destroyed.
It's a DRX team that they've been through a lot of shifts and changes in terms of their roster. They had to watch on the sidelines another Pacific team make history. Getting close to it before here. Kesnit getting punished with the yaw pickup, but this squad are looking to make their own mark, even though all the spotlights are on this Gen G squad for good reason.
Playing in front of the home crowd, here at Champions in Seoul, and they were the Korean darling team, and I think that has been overtaken somewhat by Gen G. Can they fight their way out of this one? Yeah, I think they can. I think they're fine.
That's brutal, man. But you're exactly right. They were the darling team of not just, Pacific in some capacity, Korea, and they've had to watch that get overshadowed as Gen G have stepped up into that spotlight, have made history before anybody else.
And again, you can see it in the body language coming out from the guys over towards KRU. Ever since kind of like halfway through Abyss, maybe even early on in Abyss, they've seen that. KRU are going to take a tactical timeout. Haven, and they got slapped here, is going to, it's going to affect people's assessment of it. But other than that, they've looked very solid today, and this Bind performance.
There. Where are you?
Goes from strength to strength.
Really no stopping it. You don't want to slow down here. Showstopper that was earned prior there. Buzz has already got it, and he's going to be using it to pave the way, set the pace once more. Squeezing through any available players, but Showers is completely vacant. You can just pre-fire this one into the corner, but Fuse runs out. Still, the plant is down, and that's the important element. KRU not playing for that plant denial, as you see many teams do right now. They're going to have to try and do this one. Got a bit of extra util available at least. Nade, Kesnit. Wondering which way to play this one as well. Just cycling through the weapons as a seize and a nade. Buzz tucked to the corner, still safe and still firing away. Shots fired. Out and through, that's a Showers player dealt with here for KRU. Onto this retake. They deal with Buzz too. There's that danger, but now he's going to be active. Into the fight now. What's the next layer to all of this one? Has to watch it all down. MCA at least a tap onto the defuse, and with DRX at least forced wide into the open. Plenty of time available.
Not the boom you hoped for.
Okay, a couple of seconds on the clock. Would it made a large difference if DRX were willing to fake or really fight for backside there? You saw that Kesnit ran into backside knife out. He knew that DRX were going to be falling back into classic post-plant positioning, and so he wasn't worried at all. And then you get these kills coming through where KRU are able to contest.
One enemy remaining.
KRU would have to put together so many more, though, before this comeback felt like it had any real sting behind it. That's what they're going to aim to do. Some ults may come online for KRU to try to deny plant late into this round, but otherwise, it's just the utility that you've bought.
Jiggle from Heat, really, he's got that acknowledgement. You can hear the sound cues, but now walking back up. Smoking their face. Oh, that's a cheeky play. KRU trying to go for that trap play, expecting him to be a little bit deeper onto the line, but it's evacuated, backed away by DRX. They navigate it well.
DRX love inserting Buzz over towards B long and then pressuring short. This is a classic strategy of theirs. And Buzz can either become the backstab lurker or go through the teleport. This time, just choosing to reconnect with the rest of the team.
And the timer taken by Shy, my God. Just expecting some sort of presence there.
All off the Viper wall.
Yeah. That's what you need.
Yeah.
Injection of fire there for KRU. Potentially even hearing those footsteps, but with the spike drop down, there's no chance. There's more or less here for Buzz. Potential money for his team to buy back up if he keeps this rifle into the next, but he might not even do that. That's nice.
30 seconds left.
Getting cheeky with it.
This kind of free round, though, where Shy picks the perfect timing and gets a couple brilliant kills, that's exactly what the Doctor ordered for KRU. It buys them time, gets them closer to big ultimates so that they can craft some
10 seconds left.
really difficult defensive setups to get through. And it gets them one step closer to making any kind of comeback a reality.
Oh, now, Kesnet.
No, I like it. If you see that from Kesnet, it means he's...
Surrounded by minions.
Has he forgot what country he's in?
well, I mean, the point being that he's not just frustrated.
Sure.
He's actually channeling
Fired up.
Yeah, channeling
no,
it
listen.
into a desire to win.
Listen, it's up to him to attract the ire of the home crowd here.
I don't think he's ever been disinclined to attract ire in his life.
Of course not. Of course not, this guy. But yeah, feeling quite large and in charge here. Potentially got that fire back beneath them.
So they're going to play for the ult orb over towards B long by the look of things. Get a showstopper online early.
Shy's going to be challenged and tested. He's right in front of most of this one. Snakebite at the feet. A lot to overcome there, even if it is against the pistols. And Melter tasked with just trying to hold on to control of Showers. Succeeds at that at least, forcing the rotations of KRU. Tap of Foxy9.
Hoping to bait that ult out.
And now they're going to be TP, and they've given up the entirety of the B site.
Can they bait out the showstopper as well?
Could be a victory here for DRX, even if they don't get this plant down. If they manage to pull these ults out of them, Wingman planting. Kesnet to nade, rebounds across and away. Not enough damage, I don't think, to break this one. Mosh pit into the corner. Pound for pound there. Tucked away. KRU going to be corralled into the back of the Hall's position, but they do have the weaponry and still that ult to make usage of. Foxy9 as well with that crash, but might not want to use it. Here's the ult. Showstopper forwards. MTA taking care of Bane, and Rocket not really that necessary here with the rifles. Foxy9 making a decent go. Gotta respect it.
But even more than Foxy9's kills towards the end, it's the fact they dragged out Melzer and Kesnet's ultimates that got no value. I mean, nothing. It was just a cheap tap on A, and then Kesnet trying to make the retake work, worried, even though they're on an anti-eco, even with a player advantage, wanted to secure that round because every round means everything to KRU currently. But unless you're saving ultimates like that, it's going to make the comeback almost impossible. Yeah. DRX are going to take a tactical timeout here. Frankly, I don't think they really need to do that, but Termi's just looking to stop the rot early.
Whether or not Shy's going to be using this ult. Could potentially use a Thrash to clear it, even a Nightfall as well, a really good ult. Making the most of it, you can see. One way, going to miss. All good though. Shy with the ult in his back pocket. Now there's no signs of life from DRX. They are nowhere near this A site. Anticipating that would be potentially the position there. Prowler catching. Thrash going to be used as a squeezing the players out and through here. So has to be that evacuation again from these KRU players. Out through the back, Kesnet. Got to respect that one. It was a haunt up and over the top here with the Nightfall now. Sound cues up and away. Bit of spam, stray bullets. Gliding past one another, barely giving haircuts. But no casualties, not just yet. Plant is down now for DRX. Important element now into the post. Mosh going to be laid down in a deep, committed site control and hold for them. It's an orb in their face. The Thrash round 2. Sent flying out through elbow. Nobody sticking to try and at least break that. And everybody's detained because they can't defend. Players topple, bodies fall, and DRX inevitable to get that 12. Just Shy remaining, one to stand. As I said, inevitable.
Keep it simple. DRX just play towards their ultimates, overwhelm the B site. Utilizing that Thrash in the post plant as well, all looking lovely from DRX. A 6-round lead, 6 chances to be able to put KRU away and move on as the first team in this group looking to face whoever comes out of Fnatic Billy. Buzz with a showstopper. MTA didn't get a chance to use the Thrash in the previous round. He was one away, got detained, taken down in elbow.
Careful here.
Last time Buzz accelerated very quickly through short and tried to wrap onto a Showers player. But everybody was playing off-site for KRU.
This time DRX are happy to, again, play it a bit more cautiously. Slow defaults. It's more akin, honestly. They've been showing this on their attack sides a lot.
Yeah.
Just trying to hold for any deep pushes.
I like it. It's something that DRX, the old roster, never used to do that much. It's why they weren't as good on bind when it came to these global events. But learning from some of the EMEA teams, to be honest, in terms of the style, now approaching these early rounds much more slowly, cautiously. Flashback's got to lurk over towards Showers. Looks dangerous over there, though.
Really dangerous. I mean, either Flashback catches the contact here onto one of these players. It is returned with a fire, but as a showstopper right onto the other side of the map. In through B, and Buzz has gained a lot of ground from it. Just the threat of it! That is egregious by Heat. Thinking he can take that timing back and away, and the Thrash is just dealt with. Broken down. Kesner can't take the timing. This is it. The impetus. DRX know exactly when to strike where it hurts, with an orbital strike earned up as well. There is nowhere to run and nowhere to hide now. MTA is going to be pushed back from this corner. If any of these players contacts the Thrash up and around, detainment onto Buzz, that will be the kill. And the angle just not afforded to at least answer back, but finally doubles up, and Shy has to do it all. So much to overcome, not quite possible. DRX with that third